you're in the paint. It's Pac-12's women's college basketball, and you can trust us to keep you updated every single week on what's going on in the conference. I'm Roz Golden-Woode. He's Kevin Dana. Katie, tell these good people what we have for them today.
Well, we have our Stock Watch, where we highlight a team and a player. We're going to be talking a little bit about the rivalry games that happened this past weekend, and then, of course, our game of the week. But first, Roz, what's up with the standings? We're halfway through.
Look at ASU. They've snuck into the top half of the standings with the Bay schools and the LA schools. Also this week, we had some good rivalry games. Oregon State got the win over Oregon, and who do you think led the way for the Beavers?
Allie Gibson?
Yes, definitely. Folks, if you don't know Allie Gibson's name, learn it right now because she's a freshman who knows how to get buckets. Led all scorers with 23 points. Then, this weekend, we told you to watch this game. We said it would be a good one, the Battle of the Bay. Cal went to Stanford and almost came away with the upset. Overtime game, Stanford barely survives with a 74-71 win in OT.
Well, what happened in that game, Dazzle?
Pretty much what we said. We said that it was going to be a battle of the Bay, but the key would be the battle on the boards. The team that won the rebounding game would win overall, and that's what happened. Stanford edged out Cal on the glass, 51-47.
Well, Shanae Ogwumike had quite the game, didn't she?
Quite the game might be an understatement. Shanae Ogwumike had 27 points, a career high, but even crazier for me is that she had 18 rebounds. Folks, think about that. 18 rebounds. She dominated. And really impressive, too, was her showing of a diverse array of moves with her back to the basket. She's really developed her post game, and she stepped up for her sister, her bigger sister, Nneka Ogwumike, who kind of struggled with 12 points and 9 rebounds. But she was coming off of illness, so Shanae stepped up.
Well, we've talked about a Stanford player. Who impressed you on the Cal squad?
Hands down, Brittany Boyd. Stanford had no answer for Brittany Boyd on defense. She was like a hot knife slicing through butter, getting past the guard. She has a great handle, and in space, she was unstoppable. I'm really impressed with her ability to get to the middle of the paint and then hit that teardrop floater before she got in too deep with the Stanford bigs.
Well, she was very instrumental in helping Cal come back in that second half. The Golden Bears down 14 with 8 minutes to play, but they forced overtime. How did Stanford pull it out down the stretch, Roz?
It wasn't Stanford's offense. It was really their ability on defense to keep Cal in a half-court offensive set and make them produce there, and they couldn't. You know, they were finding a lot more success in the open court and transition. When they were in the half-court set, they didn't have a purpose. They were just giving the ball to Brittany Boyd, the freshman, and saying, please, do something, score 1 on 5. And she couldn't.
That was a great game, Roz, between two of the top 3 teams in the conference. You ready for my stock watch, Roz?
I'm always ready. What do you got for me?
I got UCLA.
UCLA, fight, fight, fight.
All right, that's enough, Roz. Seriously, we've had enough, Roz. But you're right. UCLA fought their way to 2 victories on the road at Utah and Colorado. Down late in both of those games, down 9 at Utah with 7 to play, and down 4 at Colorado with 2 minutes to play before winning in overtime. They were able to prevail in both of those games despite having a short bench because Atonye Ingafa and Mariah Falk are out due to injury. So they needed some other players to step up, Roz.
I got to imagine it's Markel Walker. She's so strong in the paint.
Well, you imagined correctly. A double-double in both games, 24-10 against Colorado in the OT victory there. And you mentioned it, how strong she is. She's one of the craftiest finishers in this conference and one of the best penetrators in the Pac-12 as well. You also got to look out for Thea Lemberger, 13 points in both of those games. Also 6 assists and 0 turnovers, count them, 0 against Utah, as she was very big in controlling that offense. And now UCLA has won 2 in a row. They're 5-4 on the right side of 500 in Pac-12 play, and they have a chance to get a first-round bye come Pac-12 tournament. So that's my team. Who's your player?
You know, KD, I know I typically have a player during this part.
Yeah, so who is it?
Well, I'm going to have to beg to differ with you on the team that's hottest in the conference right now. I actually think there's another team besides UCLA whose stock is even hotter.
You're throwing me a curveball here, Roz.
I think you should be watching out for Arizona State. You know, this is a team, you talk about momentum, they've won 5 straight games. And you can't just key in on any one single player. They do this thing by committee. Look at that roster. There's 6 players who average anywhere from 5 to 10 points per game. There's 8 players who are averaging 14 or more minutes per game. So this is a team that's, you know, they come at you in waves and they go deep down the bench. But if you did want to try and point out who a key player might be.
I would like you to try.
Okay, well, you got to start with their leading scorer, leading rebounder, and that's going to be Kimberly Brandon, who's also the sister of Jennifer Brandon at Cal.
Hey, sibling rivalry this weekend, Cal at Arizona State on Saturday.
Definitely check that out if you can. And, she's a very versatile player for them, can give you minutes at the guard spot and the forward spot. And specifically, if you want to talk about a center position for them, then you got to look at Callie Bennett, giving them about 7 rebounds per game. Their go-to guard, their most productive guard would be Deja Mann. But forget individual play, because this team's best offense is their defense. And no surprise there. For anyone who's been following Pac-12 basketball, you know this has been a staple for the Arizona State program for years. You look at those conference standings, they're #1 in the Pac-12 for scoring defense, for field goal percentage defense, for blocks, and they're #2 for steals. So this is a team, they're not going to give you easy shots, and they are going to try and create some extra possessions for themselves off of their defense.
Arizona State, certainly a team that has been hot as of late, and Roz has been working with me on my breaking pitch.
Yeah, it looks good.
Thank you.
We've got the pick for the game of the week for you in the Pac-12 conference, and folks, I don't want to toot our own horns, but we've been 4 for 4 so far on game picks.
Ciento por ciento, Roz.
We pick the good games, and the one we think you should be watching this week, Washington State is going to head over to the Galen Center and take on USC this Thursday at 7 p.m. And KD, you picked this game. Why do you think it's important?
Well, these are a couple of very good teams that have been very solid all season long, but they have slumped as of late. Washington State has lost 5 of their last 6, did win their last time out against Arizona, and then USC, after starting 5-1 in conference play, have lost their last 3. So going into the second half of conference play, these are 2 teams that need some momentum going in the other direction.
So who's going to give them the momentum to take them into that much-needed victory?
Well, I think it'll be whichever recently slumping guard can get out of her funk. For USC, Ashley Corral has been fantastic all season long. Their leading scorer, more than 40% from beyond the arc, but just 6 for 22 in her last 2 games. Jasmine Perkins, in the last 4 losses, was 7 for 35 before the Arizona game, in which she was 5 for 11, double-double, 13 points and 12 rebounds. And hey, Washington State got the victory. So it's no secret around here that USC needs Ashley Corral to perform well, and Washington State needs Jasmine Perkins to perform well in order for both of these teams to have some success.
So it looks like you need guards to step up and play big. Any other keys to the game? For
USC, Roz, they need to keep the pedal to the metal. This is a team that has had late second half leads in each of their last 3 games, and we're actually up 17-0 against Utah to start that game off, but they lost all 3 of those. They just need to find that killer instinct again that helped them win at UCLA and knock off Cal earlier this season. For Washington State, Roz, it sounds simple, but they just need to make some shots. In 3 of their 5 losses in that recent losing streak, they shot 30% or worse from the field. If they can get to their average right around 39-40%, they're going to give themselves a chance to win because they play such great defense.
All right, well, it looks like it will be a good one.
That will do it for episode 4 of In the Paint. Episode 5 will be coming at you next week, where we will give you more up-to-date information on Pac-12 women's hoops. Until then, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or just want to hit us up on Twitter, it's at RozGo21 for her, at Kevo408 for me. Until then, have a great week, everybody, and peace out.